Okay. Are you? Oh, yeah. Once again, the man who needs no introduction.
So I'm going to give you just a few minute update on just what is happening with the Board of Visitors and some of the things that that I am particularly working on at the board. The number one thing I am focusing on right now is the finance of this university. I am partnered with a former rector of the university and a fellow board member, Jim Murray, who shares my concern that Alan Stamm pointed out in his speech, that the administrative bloat. It is my premise, that the cost of this university is way too much. It's just too damn expensive. And why is that? And I want to get the facts to determine whether that hypothesis is correct or not. So Jim and I have been meeting with the financial team at the university to break down the budget and particularly to focus on the administrative. We want to know, the head count of every unit of the university, every school, as central administration, and by functional unit, by head count and by compensation. With that data, we can figure out, where we're spending the money. We are also going to focus on how well we're doing on the academic side, but it is my premise that over the last 10 years, the angle of elevation of the increase in academic expenditures has been about like this, but if you could, the angle of increase of administrative costs has been dramatically more. And if we can find the answers to that, then we can focus on where we can cut those costs. And some of the costs we want to cut are those costs that are interfering with our ability to have the university that is open to all points of view. The free speech, then number two on our agenda, or in no particular order, but on number two on my list of things to talk about, is just the whole issue of free speech, style, and diversity of thought, and civil discourse. And then to make sure there are no mandates on anybody's point of view, whether you be a faculty member, administrator, or a student. I am joined in that same effort by my four colleagues, or my three other colleagues that were appointed by the governor, and again by Jim Murray. If you watched the last board meeting, which you can see on video, all of our board meetings are either streamed and taped so that you can watch them later. Jim Murray in particular asked a very penetrating question about whether our DEI statements are Orwellian. And that has led to, Doug Wetmore, one of my colleagues, has pushed for there to actually be a presentation to the board, which will occur in June, by the head of our DEI department, Kevin McDonald. What does the DEI department do, and how big is it? It would appear that it's 100 or more people, all of which have been hired in the last 2 to 3 years. So this is an exploding bureaucracy, and they're reaching into every aspect of our university. So we want to find out, what all they're doing, who all is there, and why are they doing it. We're also focusing on, the honor system and the whole orientation. I want to, in absentia, I would like to acknowledge Miss Gabby Bray, fourth-year student, head of the honor system, who put together the honor referendum that recently passed, and passed by overwhelming majority of the students to bring back the expulsion as a sanction and to create a much more efficient honor system, which I think has given it new life. It was just an absolutely brilliant maneuver on Gabby's part to pull this off, and the students did it. My thanks to all them. But even there, the honor system cannot thrive, or even survive if it is not pushed a lot harder by our administration and the faculty than it is. And the best place to start that is at the orientation of the incoming students with a much more aggressive explanation of honor, explanation of the value of an honor system to the students in their life, beyond the University of Virginia. I've told so many doggone students that, I live my life on the basis of having, my 4 years here as an undergrad under an honor system that was effective and, admired, that I approach every transaction on the basis of I trust you until or unless you prove that I can't. And a handshake has worked for me for 70 years now. Orientation, I think, should also, heavily orient the incoming students to the value of an open discourse. And that comes from the leadership. If the leadership says that we will not mandate a point of view and any opinion is worthy of a debate and a discussion, and there's no wrong opinions, you may not be able to make your case, but your opinion can't be wrong. We will have a much more open university, but it has to, and orientation is where to start. Including in that, on a very small tangent, is the guided tours of the university. I've done 11 of them now, and 9 of them have been appalling, and I've made that case to our dean of students and the people that say they're in charge of these tours, and I just can't believe we can't solve this quicker. But I'm just going to be on top of top of everybody until we find a solution for this. It's just incomprehensible to me that we would have somebody give a tour to a prospective student and tell them nothing but bad things about Mr. Jefferson, our university, our history, our heritage, and everything else. What do they expect? The security is another issue here. In my view, it's a different, than, just everybody feeling safe, from a opinion point of view. There is a security issue. And I think very prominently on the corner, and in with the Charlottesville, the whole Charlottesville community, the crime is starting to work its way towards the university, towards the corner. And I will be meeting with our whole security team tomorrow to talk specifically about that. The corner is the only place where students can walk to and enjoy camaraderie, and relax, party, celebrate, what have you. It's the only place they can go at this university. And if we lose the corner, by letting the bad guys migrate to the corner, we've lost it, and that we don't have anything we can replace it with. So it's very important to me. Part of what I do to be a board member is what you've all read in management books, is just management by walking around. There are only 3 of the board members that live here in the Charlottesville, and I'm here 10 days a month. And I've made that part of my life, to give myself time to be here. It's a mission. And you can't understand this university if you just come in 5 times a year to the board meeting and arrive on Thursday night for the dinner and listen to the board presentations and then go home. All you're going to get is their perspective. And you're going to go, you're going to arrive at the boar's head and leave from the boar's head, and you can't understand this university. I make it a point when I'm here, to walk around, to walk the whole length of the lawn and the university and see the new buildings and walk inside of them and try and figure out where the facilities are. I talk to students. I talk to them on the corner. I will go meet with them, and I talk to faculty. But it's just management by walking around. Part of my security issue that I had, I'm bringing up to them is Friday and Saturday night in particular. I was out at the corner from 11 o'clock until a little past 1:30, And when I got there, there was not one single policeman or one single ambassador to be found anywhere. And I walked from Elliewood all the way to the 14th Street and back and forth and back and forth. And I was just appalled that we just didn't have a big presence. I thought that was going to how we were going to solve it. And you don't get that kind of stuff unless you walk around. So that is one thing I will do, and I'll bring that perspective. But my most important thing that I think we can bring back to this university, and with the 4 that we have and the the subsequent board members we're gonna get on this board, is a vision that this is one university. We admit students to the University of Virginia. I am personally, and I think we all are tired of subdividing our students by ever more small subsets of either gender or race or politics or some other subdivision yet to be determined. I just want to tell people we got 20,000, 25,000 Wahoos, and that we're all here because we love the University of Virginia, we love Thomas Jefferson, we love Virginia, we love America, and we don't need it subdivided any further. That may be a pipe dream, but that's our vision. That's where we're going. The overall aspect of the Board of Visitors, it is a collegial group, and we can get stuff done. We will have 8 of us out of 17 by the 1st of June, and to go effective the 1st of July. We will have 12 1 year later. And then we will control the agenda and we will control the votes by then. In the interim, it's gathering data, working with the other board members, of which there are a number that are of like-minded on some things, but some of the more aggressive points of view that we want to take, we won't get there until we have the votes, but we'll have them in roughly 15 months from now. It's going to be fun. I am the eternal optimist. I worry about all these things we just talked about. I worry about what the students are subjected to. I worry about a lot of this other stuff, but this place is just too good. And I think we have a moment in time because this state elected Glenn Youngkin. We have a moment in time, that we can make some radical changes, all for the better. Once we get the votes, we got to move fast. We will.